What's going on? It's Dapper Don. Let me be the first to welcome you to episode 6 of a new show called Wassup Cardinals, the show where we do whatever we want. Topics range from zodiacs and their connection to our personalities to how to properly play fighting games and everything in between. Heck, we may even invite you to participate. So if you want a show where you'll never know what comes next, tune in Wednesdays at 4 p.m. here on WCRD 91.3. Now, let's see what's in the news today. But first, there is something that I have to relay to you as far as event informazione. So just give me 1 second to pull that up here. Here it is. The Indiana Light Conference 2024. That is going to be taking place in the Art and Journalism Building, room 175. That's 1101 North McKinley Avenue, Muncie, Indiana 47304. That's Friday the 11th at 7 p.m., Saturday the 12th at 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. And ministering is Pastor, and I hope I didn't pronounce this wrong, Ayo Benson, A-Y-O Benson. To RSVP, you call 317-737-6772. Again, that's the Indiana Light Conference 2024 taking place in the Art and Journalism Building on Ball State's campus, room 175. That's happening on the 11th of October at 7 p.m., the 12th of October, 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. And ministering it is Pastor Ayo Benson. And RSVP, you call 317-737-6772. That's 317-737-6772. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you'd better get on that. And now, let's take a look at some Ball State news. Firstly, in women's volleyball, Ball State goes to a fifth set in consecutive matches, but splits weekend series with Central Michigan. Now, this is an article by Mr. Daniel Keene, K-E-H-N, written on October 5th. After opening the Mid-American Conference season with back-to-back losses at home to Bowling Green, Ball State traveled up to Mount Pleasant, Michigan for 2 road tilts with Central Michigan. Game 1. 7 days after finding itself in a fifth set, winner-go-home scenario against Bowling Green, Ball State was back there again Friday night against Central Michigan, but came alive in the final frame to close it out. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on here. Made in Muncie Pottery offers a creative outlet for the community. This is in local business. This is by Jessica Bergfors, and it was written on September 30th. Ceramic dragons, mugs, bowls, and gnomes line the shelves as customers contemplate what piece to choose. With around 300 different products and over 100 paint colors to choose from, Made in Muncie Pottery offers the Muncie community a creative workspace for those of all skill levels wanting to delve into ceramics. So definitely get into that if you can. Located in downtown Muncie, Made in Muncie provides a variety of workshops and lessons. Rachel Klein, the shop manager at the store, said walk-ins are the most common business that they receive. So definitely check that one out. All right, on to the next article. This one is not so good news. Reports of shots fired in the area of Reserve and University. I believe I did see people mentioning this, various Ball State students mentioning this around campus. This is by staff reports, and it was written on October 1st. According to an emergency alert text message sent Tuesday night from the University Police Department, UPD, and the Muncie Police Department, MPD, and BSUPD are investigating reports of shots fired in the area of Reserve and University, so avoid the area. At around 10:46 p.m., around 20 minutes after the original alert, an all-clear message was sent out. MPD confirmed 2 people shooting at each other from vehicles outside the local gas station. This story will be updated as more information becomes available. All right. And now we're going to move on here to another local article in local sports here by staff report in high school sports. Delaware County Athlete of the Week nominees. The Ball State Daily News will use this program to honor athletes who had an impressive week or a breakout performance. Candidates will be chosen and the community can cast their votes. This was written on September 29th by staff reports. Candidates will be announced every Sunday, with the voting closing on the following Monday at 5 p.m. The winner will be announced the next day. If you believe a certain student athlete should be candidate, email the Daily News sports editor Zach Carter at zachary.carter@bsu.edu or associate sports editor David Moore at david.moore@bsu.edu. The Ball State Daily News is partnered with the Muncie Sports Commission for this program. This will help determine nominees for the end of the year award show next spring. Alrighty then. Now on to today's topic. Texting. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Wait, Don, didn't you say you were going to be talking about the United Nation of Islam this week? And my answer is yes. Yes, I did. See, I usually plan these episodes ahead of time and write them throughout the rest of the week until we go live the following Wednesday. And as I was researching for the United Nation of Islam episode, I was overwhelmed with the sheer amount of information on the topic. It was info that was going to take us well over the usual 1 hour limit, however, and I try to stick to that limit quite strictly for a variety of reasons. The main one being that I'm not the only show that airs around this time. So sticking to the schedule I worked out in advance for the hour-long shows usually just works to everyone's benefit. The secondary reason is that the United Nation of Islam is a cult, not to be confused with the actual Nation of Islam, which are the black Muslims. And as with any cult exposing media, a lot of the most pertinent information comes not from Wikipedia, not from any news source, but from the people, or rather information that comes from the victims of the cult's practices. I figured a topic of this magnitude would do better in the hands of a documentarian. Not saying I couldn't cover it one day, but it would certainly have to be an independent venture, one that my set schedule simply just doesn't permit right now. So our new topic for episode 6 is texting, and why it absolutely sucks. This topic has been stirring in the old brainy box for a while now, but it really came to the forefront recently when, one sunny day, I was planning a trip with a friend of mine. We'll call him Slow Bro. And his friend who didn't leave the house much. We'll call her Homebody. We were all supposed to go to the mall that afternoon and be back before it got too dark. After all, we did want to avoid the weirdos and stuff that come out at night during Indie. You know, the song The Freaks Come Out at Night? Indie is where the freaks come out at night. The trip was supposed to be smooth. I texted them and was very specific about times, when and where I'd meet each of them, etc. They both responded via text saying that they understood exactly what I was saying. Lo and behold, I get there and Slow Bro is not close to ready. And I got there at the exact time I said I'd be there, and he wasn't even nearly ready. He not only still had to shower and get ready, but he also had to get money from his aunt and do a whole bunch of other stuff that I specifically requested be done by the time I got there so we could get to the mall. But this isn't the best part. The fool didn't even try to get any sort of ready in any timely manner. So by the time we got to Homebody's place, we were literally over an hour late. And Slowbro still had the nerve to demand we be back to his place before 7 p.m. Like I was supposed to respect his time when he couldn't even respect mine. Listeners, if you only knew how badly I wanted to kick his butt in Minecraft. I swear, I'm too kind sometimes. I really am. I really am. But, as you can clearly see from that story, texting has this weird quirk where you can communicate as clearly as possible, and it still results in miscommunication. The sheer amount of ineptitude you have to endure is what prompted me to make today's episode. And I look forward to taking a deep dive into examples of horrendous texting and laughing along with you. After all, it's a better use of our collective time than crying about it or bashing our heads against the wall like I'm sure we all usually want to do in the moment. But first, we should probably identify the different types of texters so we can get a better understanding of just how bad this situation truly is. This is an article by the Cosmopolitan, published September 22nd, 2015. So, not too recent, but recent enough. These are the 13 types of texters every 20-something knows all too well. You know Cosmopolitan with their quirky titles. Firstly, there's the person who always uses super correct punctuation. Take a look here. So that's that. You got your people who basically are people who text like they're trying to communicate with you. People who text like you're a human being who's not just going to get a bunch of misspelled, abbreviated jargon and know that you have to actually read something in order to get it. I like these people, the people that use the super correct punctuation. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with texting grammatically correct. Use your commas, use your semicolons, convey the idea you're trying to convey properly, please. Because don't tell me, uh, yo, WYD, HBU, LOL. I have to look up 50 different acronyms just to figure out what the heck you're saying. Just use the words that God blessed you with. 2, the person who loves group text to the point where you think they may have a problem. Our cell phone is not a party, and also no one has time for that. Literally. Oh my God, I can't tell you. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've been in situations with group texts and whatnot where they just keep getting spammed by one freaking person all the time with memes and news and freaking paragraphs and drama and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here, I have to mute the group chat. I have to mute the group chat. There's important stuff being relayed in the group chat, but I'm not privy to it because I have to mute the group chat because this one person just keeps spamming. Like the group chat is all they do. They don't have anything else to do but that group chat. Oh my God. And some of those, I just wanted to specifically add the person and tell them to take a break. In fact, in group chats that I've managed, I've muted people like that, just straight up, or put on slow mode if it's Discord. Because just no, stop spamming. Stop wanting attention that bad. Just stop spamming. Get something better to do with your time. The third one is the person who sends 5 texts at once, and then 3 more if you don't respond right away. And this is where we start getting into the creepy, icky end of texting, where we're talking about people who are going after people who generally aren't interested in them, and that's annoying too. I'm sitting here. I get 5 texts at 4:30 in the morning, and I don't respond. And then you send 3 more an hour later. Like that's gonna get me to respond. Like sending a chaser is gonna get me to respond. That's funny. That's hilarious. 4, the person who asks if you heard about some really bad news yet, and then when you ask what they're talking about, they ghost you for hours. I've not experienced one exactly like this, but there are people who will text me saying that they've got something important to tell me, and then when I say what's going on, and they'll pretend it was really important, really urgent, then I'll say, what? Hey, yeah, tell me what's going on. For some reason, they don't tell me for hours. Sometimes you just have to shrug it off and be like, well, it must not have been that important. 5, the person who will straight up leave in the middle of a conversation and not talk to you again for weeks like it's no big deal. And then you just have to cope with it. You just have to be like, yeah, this person does that. No. All right. If you ghost me in the middle of a conversation, I'm sorry, but I cut people off that do that, right? Because I'm sitting here talking to you. You clearly want to talk to me and you just ghost, and I'm supposed to accept that you just ghost. Come on, brother. Come on. Come on. You're not that important. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. The person who replies with the perfect gift every time, like some sort of gift magician. Oh, I'm that guy. Oh boy, I have a gift for everything. You tell me you got a divorce, I got a gift for that. You tell me your dog died, I have 20 gifts for that. You tell me you just got a new car, I got a gift for that. You tell me that your husband fell off the cliff while the two of you were hiking near Mount Everest, I got a gift for that. The person who tells a story one word at a time, so you get 20 texts from them when it could have just been one. Yeah, I know people like this, and I think it's just to get attention, to keep your phone buzzing so you don't disappear from the conversation and stop responding. People really ought to stop doing that because it's annoying. I mean, I've done it a couple times when I'm texting something like an entire like document or like something huge that somebody needs to understand, but like on the whole, I don't I don't do it like that. I'll just send one big paragraph and then be done with it if it's that big of a story. If I can't summarize it or tell parts of it. Number 8, the person who starts responding then puts their phone down for 5 hours and never sends the text. I've met a couple people like these. They've all been blonde. Moving on. 9. The person who responds in nothing but emojis. Yeah, so you're talking about children. Number 10. The person who always finishes the conversation properly no matter what because they're a human being with feelings. Again, I do that. I will literally send, I will talk to you later, text. So that way nobody's upset at why I'm not responding because I literally say, I have something to do, I'll talk to you later. It's called basic consideration. It is very easy to communicate. The person who only ever replies K. I do that sometimes when you catch me at the wrong moment. Like, again, if you're texting me at 4:30 a.m., I'm probably not going to respond with the most lengthy answer because I'm trying not to cuss you out. Number 12, the person who writes a 500-word personal essay via text. It's one thing, right? If you're texting and you're trying to like convey a story or convey something really lengthy and it's something that the person asked you to convey. It's another thing if you're just doing this just to do this. Stop it. Get some help. Nobody should be typing that much. And then the person who responds to your text by calling you. I'm not afraid of anybody calling me, but please warn me first. Come on now. Everybody gets phone anxiety nowadays. Just warn people. But anyways, you now know the 13 types of texters, so you now know that this is kind of a common problem and how this problem can be sorted into sections. So now we're going to take a look at just how people in these categories have just ruined texting in general. This is an article by, if it would pull up for me, please pull up. Come on, you can do it. There we go. This is Quartz Hill High School. In my opinion, texting sucks. C Diego Caceres, editor in chief. This was written in 2023, May 1st. This past week, I wanted to call my friend, so I texted him, "Hey, are you free to call this Sunday?" No response. I thought, okay, let's give him some time. Maybe he's busy. I waited a day and still nothing. Should I text him again? I thought. No, I don't want to bother him. Ugh, but it's almost Sunday. 2 more days go by and Sunday finally arrives. Still no response. Does he even like me? I thought we were friends. I thought he liked my company. I felt completely defeated. I crashed onto my bed and stared at my phone, knowing he wouldn't respond. In a final act of desperation, I gave it one last chance. I texted him, still want to call? This man responded. It took 3 whole days and a lot of insecurity, but we finally called. And this is why I hate texting. As someone with low self worth, I get anxious anytime someone responds late to my texts. I can completely relate to that. And people know that this happens to people and they still don't care. It's not their fault, but I can't help but think everyone who doesn't respond to me in under 3 minutes must hate me. If they take longer than that, I start worrying. Do they like me? Why are they taking so long? Was it something I said? Now, I don't get like that so much anymore. I used to when I was little. I don't get like that anymore. But if it's something important and you don't respond in under 3 minutes, I am thinking, okay, is it even that important? Why was I bothered? Why was I taken away from what I have to do for the day for this crap when it's not even important enough for you to respond in a timely manner? This is why I say if you text like a human being, like a considerate human being, and not try to put on some front and some cool facade, some cool like, oh yeah, you can't even reach me, you can't get a hold of me facade, you'll understand that there's a reason that you just understand a lot of things. Just be human. But most of the time they're busy and they respond later. But I can't help but worry. I literally have to distract myself with homework, chores, and school. To avoid unanswered texts, I prefer calling. It's way simpler. When you're calling someone, you're not worrying about if they heard what you just said because their phone is right up to their ear. And it's more expected that you give each other your full attention, whereas you can respond hours later to a text. Calling also helps me stay in the moment. When I text, I have the habit of rewriting my text. I write it out, read it, and then go, ooh, that sounds bad. Then I delete it, rewrite it, and read it again, and then I repeat for the next 10 to 13 times. But when I'm calling someone, it's like an audition. You don't get a second chance to fix your mistakes or imperfections. It's all one shot. Now, if you can't tell, my reasons for calling are personal. I prefer calling because I get anxious when texting, and I rewrite all my texts. But what I struggle with is not necessarily what others struggle with. You may feel more comfortable texting because you can think through your text, play games like 8 Ball, and avoid awkward phone calls. But in my experience, calling saves me a lot of work. So go ahead and text your friends. Play those archery games, dominate an 8 Ball. But I swear, if I see any unread messages on your phone, I'm going to bite your toes off. Okay, that was a lot. Now, I relate to this in some parts. In others, I'm kind of like, maybe we need to decompress from technology a little bit. But for the most part, text anxiety is very common. People know that this happens to people, especially when it's something important that needs to be relayed. So it's just like people need to be more considerate. They just do. And now here's another article by 1 second. The 10 reasons why texting sucks, and this is Blogspot, Lauren Life. So this is Lauren's blog, and this was written on March 20th. It looks like of this year. Oh, 2013. Whoops. It was March 20th of 2013. That's all right. Again, this stuff is all recent enough to where it still happens to this day, so it really doesn't matter too much. 10 reasons why texting sucks. Okay, so I've talked about texting here and there in previous blog posts, but I decided to really dive right into the nitty gritty of it all. Texting, I hate it. And anyone who knows me knows how much I hate it. I hate waiting for someone to respond, and I hate having full, she says, text versations, which is just the most terrible, terrible, terrible pun ever. Can we? It's like, okay, that's another episode for another time. These weird combination words, just say words and say them in a way that makes sense. Text versations, who understands that? Anyways, it's fine if it's a small thing like don't forget the s'mores ingredients, which, by the way, isn't a small thing, but rather a short sentence. Or if it's something like movie tonight at 8. But when it comes to long conversations, count me out. If you want to talk to someone, call. If you're texting someone because you're bored, figure out something else to do. Thank you. Again, I have people texting me at 4:30 in the morning. I get people texting me at 6 in the morning, half past. Somebody texted me at 6:30. Well, yesterday, right? It was 6:30 yesterday, and I'm sitting here like, so are we just out here bored? Do we not have a life? What's going on? It's like, what do you think I'm doing at 6:30 in the morning? I don't have work. I don't have anything else to do. What do you think I'm doing at 6:30 in the morning? Sleep, like every other rational human being. Jeez. Anyways, back to the article. You cannot tell a person's tone of voice in a text. That's one reason why she says texting sucks. I'm never sarcastic ever, but let's face it. Hold on, I gotta just make sure this article scrolls. Oh, come on, scroll bar. Don't be this finicky with me. Are you kidding? Okay, you cannot tell a person's tone of voice. This is the first part of 10 reasons why texting sucks. I'm never sarcastic ever, but let's face it, some really super duper cool people are. Because of that, some text messages can be misconstrued because the tone of voice isn't apparent, or it's a child. If and when I text with friends, sorry, but I don't always feel the need to write JK or just kidding when I'm sarcastic or joking. Wait, I said I'm never sarcastic. JK! I tend to assume that, okay, this article is too quirky, anyways, for my liking. So I'm just going to read off the main bullet points and then give my take on them. This is too quirky for me. This is like white girl with 20 billion cats quirky level. I'm just going to read off the bullet points. So, number 2, you never really have the other person's full attention. You don't. Everybody's always off doing something else. I'm sorry I didn't check my phone. I was doing this, I was doing that. I'm trying to be off my phone more. Coincidentally, they're always trying to be off their phone more right when you text them, but for some reason they're always active everywhere else. Number 3 is the abbreviations IDK, JK, LOL, I know right, LMFAO, KU, Cosby. It's too much. It's too much. Stop abbreviating it. It's a one word. I know it's very appealing to abbreviate in text, but like when I was younger, I had to look all of this stuff up just to understand this language. It's just, come on. 4, it just takes so long. I mean, it can. It's like, imagine texting someone something like, "How was your day?" And then they text you like 8 hours later, "Oh, it was good." You don't know what happened, and there was really no point in asking the question because now they've just gone through their day without even letting you know anything. One surface level exchange like that can just take hours. It's so bad. It's so boring, and just a lot of waiting and wondering if this person even can stand you, just for them to text back, "Oh, it was okay." 5, texting is impersonal, indirect, and a whole lot less. You can be very passive aggressive over text because a lot of people like to hide behind the fact that text in that tone in text doesn't really work all that great. So you can be very passive aggressive when you text someone, and it's not great. You can play butcher. I don't know what this means. Hold on, let me read over it real quick. Right. Yeah, you can just give one word responses. Now I know that a lot of people give the one word responses because they don't like texting, but then those same people don't like calling. So it's and then they get mad when you don't check on them. It's just real. It's just real great people. Privacy. Your words aren't private when you text. They become shareable. Somebody can screenshot them. Now, this is a legitimate concern. It's like you could say something very, very mundane to someone and they can screenshot it, take it out of context, and put it up somewhere to make you look bad. I've seen this happen. It happens all the time. So that's always a concern. 2-word replies to paragraph long texts. First off, you shouldn't be sending paragraph long text except in certain scenarios, but if you have to and you get a 2-word reply, doesn't it just infuriate you putting all that effort into a text only for the person on the other end to respond like K? If they even put that much effort into it. Different texting speeds and confusion. Yeah, and it's like you'll see the little icon for typing, and then you'll see it go away for 2 hours. Then you'll see it pop back up, and then you'll see it go away. So it's just too much. It's too much. And then the conversation flow is actually lost because nobody responds. And then number 10, accidents, which you're not watching. You're not watching the road when you're driving and you're texting, and then the accidents happen. You've seen the infomercials. You've seen all that. So now that we've taken a look at how texting has been ruined, we're going to talk about some of the habits of the terrible texter and how you can drop them. This is an article by Note. Well, this is an article on Note Page Inc. I don't see an author here, so forgive me if you're the one who wrote this and you're listening now. Put your name on it. If you like it, then you should have put your name on it. Anyways, 10 texting habits you need to drop. We all have those friends we love very much, but sometimes just hate to text. Bad texting habits can happen to good people. And even those of us who fancy ourselves masters of text message etiquette, oh, these articles, why are they always so quirky? Just get to the point. Jeez Louise. Masters of text message etiquette invariably catch ourselves indulging in poor texting behavior from time to time. We've created a guide to help you avoid falling victim to these common texting misfires. Blah, 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 blah. For one, using abbreviations. You kind of don't want to do these all the time. I should not have to look up on Google and translate what you're saying text to English. Convey ideas properly. Number 2, the multiple fire. The text 1, hey, text 2, what are you up to tonight? Text 3, Monica and I were thinking of going out for dinner. Text 4, just rapid fire. Just constant bing, 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 bing on somebody's phone like they want to hear that, like they want to deal with that. So like that can get annoying, and it becomes a problem when you're doing this, especially to somebody who's not on their phone a lot. Then they come back to 6, 7, 8 texts. The 1-word response. If you know it's important, let somebody know that you realize that it's important by responding with more than just K. I know it takes effort. Oh, God forbid I have to text just 3 extra words. But just do it. The 1 emoji response. Also, emojis aren't words. Don't text me back with emojis because I'm not going to understand what the heck you're talking about. unless the context is. It depends on the context, but if you're texting me back about something important with an emoji, I'm not going to know what you're talking about. 6, letters don't quite make the cut. So Y-O-U, spell your U, and A-R-E-R instead of R, the letter. Because you're throwing me off. And then some people use the letter N instead of I-N. It's like, how do you mistype it like that? That is so easy. It's just I-N. Don't avoid the question. If I ask you a question, don't text me about something else. If you want to stay in contact with me, you have to answer that question. Otherwise, I'm not going to know anything. Especially when I'm scheduling hangouts, and then you are at the hangout, but I don't know that because you didn't respond to my initial text message about it. So now we just missed the hangout? Yeah, no. Use your punctuation. I got one friend that'll just send text strings where they go on and on and on and on of misspelled, improper grammar with no punctuation, so you don't know what the heck he's talking about. 10. Communication everywhere. No, it's communication everywhere as well as face to face. I don't know what this one is. Hold on. I'm still dating him. Yeah. Yeah. So when you find your friends in a group texting, you kind of don't want to be the one to just kind of go with it. You got to call them out. It's like, yeah, what the heck? Y'all invited me to hang out, and y'all are all on your phones? I don't tolerate that at all. Like, hey, come on, wake up, let's go, come on. But yeah, and this all is really just talking about phone communication in general. We haven't even delved into the monster that is social media. It's to the point where if someone gives you their social media instead of their phone number, you might as well not talk to them at all anymore. Because I guarantee you they'll probably only send you a one word response once a month, despite being on the darn things constantly. Literally, you can look up any one of your friends right now and they have the green icon showing that they're active. But I bet you if you text them right now, you wouldn't get a response for the next 100 years. Both of you would be sitting in a wheelchair. Oh, yeah, I forgot to respond to your text. And, that definitely doesn't make anybody look like a D bag or anything. Definitely doesn't. And these same people, like I said, will be the very ones making posts about how no one talks to them. Oh, the hilarious hypocrisy. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Just, again, text like a normal human. If you got plans with someone or you're in a convo with someone, don't just ghost them. Communicating clearly and consistently avoids ruining perfectly good relationships. And if you're a bad texter, don't expect people to just have to deal with it. Because, like it or not, there are folks who just won't. And if you're someone who overtexts to the point of bordering on novels every time you send a message, stop being crazy. If you're someone who could be reading a breakup text and just text K in response 5 hours later, get help. Just be consistent with who you are through and through. No need for these fancy cool facades or whatever. And I know there are some people who just don't like to type that much. But these same people are also call averse despite always wanting you to check on them. It's way too much confusion. Just communicate clearly. It's not that hard. But anywho, I'm gonna wrap it up here. That's all for today's show, folks. I know it was a short one, but to be fair, I wanted this one to be kind of a lighter episode because the next episode is going to be a little bit more lengthy. It's going to be a lot more to talk about. But I do want to thank all of you wonderful people for tuning in. This would not be possible without your support. If you have any business questions, feel free to email me at don.piper@bsu.edu. That's don.piper@bsu.edu. Please don't troll my email. Be sure to follow me and the show on Instagram at DapperDon1012 and at Dapper Don's Wassup Cardinals. Follow me on Facebook if any of you still use that at Dapper Don. And if you'd like to secure a guest spot for next week's episode or just let me know your thoughts on today's episode, you can text the show's hotline, 765-245-7957. Please don't troll that line. The archived audio of today's show will most definitely be up on YouTube and Spotify tomorrow at 4. So subscribe to Dapper Don 1012 on YouTube and follow Wassup Cardinals on Spotify so you never miss a beat. And make sure to tune in next Wednesday at 4 for our next topic, the SCP Foundation. Like I said, that's going to be a much heavier topic. So, this is goodbye, dear listeners. Thanks for tuning in.